Hello, I am Rio Roayo from Qualbert.com. We are in level 2 of the Melbourne Exhibition Centre for PAX Australia, and with me I have two very special guests. I have CEO of Jackbox, Mike Bilder, and Allard Laban, our Chief Creative Officer. How are you two doing today?
It's a mouthful to say Chief Creative Officer.
I almost got it.
You did good. You did good. I mean, it's taken me years, and I still am like, trying to spit it out. But yeah.
So tell me, how you guys been doing?
We've been doing good. This is a busy weekend. This is probably the busiest PAX we've been to since pre-COVID, I think. It's been nuts. I love it.
And so you guys have been showcasing Party Pack 11 for the whole weekend. And so just tell me, how's it been like watching people play it?
It is maybe my favorite thing about developing our games. It's almost like we're every year we make an album and then we go on tour and we watch people react in the audience, and that's kind of the vibe. Like, I feel like this year especially, people are laughing, and I feel like it feels like we've delivered something that people recognize and feel good about and are having fun with. So we're good. We like it.
That's great.
Yeah, reaction's been great. We're really pleased. People seem to be having a lot of fun, a lot of laughter at our stage, and we did a panel earlier today that was very fun and very entertaining, and it seems like hopefully we've got a good assortment of games in this year's pack that people enjoy.
That's great. That's very good to hear. So what I also wanted to know was, so last year you guys released your Jackbox Jackbox Survey Scramble.
That's right.
Which is a Family Feud style game, I would say, where you're picking words and sorting them into categories.
Right.
And I love putting things in categories personally.
Yes.
And I wanted to know, what interesting data have you guys collected from the answers people have given from all over the world?
That's interesting, because that database is constantly changing, right? So, and it's also region-based, so it's not necessarily like, what the entire world is. It's sort of like what people in, say, Melbourne, Australia, or, all of Australia would be saying at the same time. And to be honest, we have no idea.
We do a bit. I mean, we curate the content, right? So if people are putting bad things in there, it's not just going to show up in people's games. But it's a first for us in that we have this kind of dynamic generated survey data on the back end. But people seem to really be enjoying that game. It's a fun one.
Great. And speaking about it being region-specific, I wanted to know, will those be influencing any of the region-specific prompts if you guys decide to do future Jackbox Party Packs? Because I know you have American, an option to turn off American answers.
Right.
So would you have prompts that are more specific to, like, say, Australia or UK or somewhere in South America?
Yeah.
I think the editors will, because while things are sort of automatically updated, we do sort of comb through that stuff and look for the stuff that is not appropriate for that category, because it's not just like naughty words. It's just sometimes it's just gobbledygook. People are just typing in nothing.
Right.
So a lot of that kind of gets edited out. But it does kind of enter into sort of the editorial sphere, I guess, into our sort of collective hive mind of our editorial. So it may influence future games or future content and what we do. Yeah. So that's about as like deep as I can get into it, because otherwise I'll be really, lying to know that what we really are getting from that info. We move very quickly. So every year is a new pack, and while we sort of record and maintain a lot of that content, it kind of affects us in different, more subtle ways, as opposed to being like, okay, we did the survey pack, now we're going to do a survey pack in 2026. That's probably not the way it's going to happen. But we will probably be affected by that data because we have it.
Right.
And it's all anonymous too. We don't actually keep anybody's data, anybody's personal information. Right. We've always been pretty clear about that from the beginning. We're dumb to that stuff. Right. It's more or less like the content that we're interested in.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I was wondering about the data, so I'm glad it is like relatively safe hands according to you guys.
Well, the best way to be safe is to be dumb about it.
Right, exactly. No personal identifiable information, basically. Yeah.
I mean, that's, I think, a great selling point in today's market. Like, you guys aren't selling them to data sharks or whatever.
No, we're not. We're not doing that.
Got you on record saying that.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have us on record. We're not selling data to data sharks.
That's not how we make our money. We make our money by selling games.
Fantastic.
Right.
We love that. And so on this topic of like region-specific stuff, can you guys tell me, what have you found is the main difference between Australian humor and American humor?
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not too different.
It's not too different.
I really feel it's not too different.
We're, you know, as a global culture, we're kind of fed a lot of sort of Western comedy. And I think it's pretty like-minded in a lot of places. There's probably sort of some cultural things that, you know, are some, you know, local, you know, gags that people like to make, and, you know, inside jokes that work culturally.
Right.
But we try and stay away from things that are that specific, and go for sort of more generalized.
Yeah, I think the content we've done most recently in our last handful of PAX has the ability to turn off US-centric kind of prompts within the game, and that's a direct reflection of having been at PAX Australia, because we would have content that came up in Trivia Murder Party, for instance, excuse me, where it was U.S. baseball players, or it was content that nobody had a clue about, and they were very, you know, gasping when it came up, like, and we don't like this. And then we kind of took that feedback back home and said, is there a way? Then most of the content works fine, but this hyper-specific kind of U.S.-based content is not going to work globally, so can we at least come up with a way to call that out? And so that kind of sensibility of just writing for a more global audience is, you know, front and center for our editors. And then where we don't do that, we give the ability to disable that content. So hopefully it's a better experience for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like it's important to sort of recognize how big an influence American culture can be. So having that switch kind of, you know, turn it off. Nobody really wants to hear about, you know, the shape of Ohio. You know.
Well, I mean, the other thing is a lot of our games are user-generated content. So when you ask if there's a difference in humor here or in Australia or whatnot, not really, because what'll end up happening is there's more inside nuance or jokes or pop culture references that are made in Australia that might be foreign to us that we don't know about, but it plays really well to the audience because they're inputting that and they're all laughing at it because they all know it well. So the user-generated content games work universally, I feel like. The ones where there's deep trivia content or things is where we kind of do that ability to call out some of the more US-specific prompts.
I feel like our secret sauce is our ability to be joke whisperers, like setting people up to make a funny joke. And what you do with that is up to you. It's your own world, life, culture, family, friends. You know, you're going to make the joke that makes your friends laugh.
Right.
And we want to set you up to do that.
Or at least I try. They don't always work. But
Well, that's true for everybody. You're not unique there.
Believe me, I work with a bunch of comedians.
Right.
It's hard
to be funny.
It's hard to make them laugh.
Right.
And yes, so you guys are on your 11th party pack now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm curious about how has the creative pipeline changed from your first party pack in 2014 to today in 2025?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I mean, we've learned a lot over the years, having done it a few times now, and we've put a process in place for how games are pitched and greenlit. So it's a little more official than it was when we first started, which was just, what's fun? What can we do, right? But the roots of that are still the same. Anybody in the company can pitch an idea. If they have a great idea, they can paper and pencil test it. They can gather some folks with them and try to work on a prototype. Everybody can be creative. And we like that because it's not just the same few people in the studio that are always designing or inventing the games. We're going to get very similar games all the time if we do it that way. And so it's really just expanded over the years because the company has expanded. So we have a lot more people that can participate in that process. And I think we're better for it. We get more unique games and different IP every year that we can bring out in our party packs.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we've learned is that ideas never die, right? So something might get pitched one year. It might be picked up by somebody else the next year. We've learned to kind of disassociate the ego from the idea, because the idea is really what is the most important. Like, and how we develop that idea and like execute on it is like how we get to an actual prototype. How do we get to a game? So we really encourage people to look at the ideas that we've had been pitched before, because there's always something, one small change that can turn a pretty good idea into a great idea. So that's also something we've learned.
Nice.
You know, we have a bunch of games that have been pitched and are some of our most popular games, like Trivia Murder Party. That was in the pipeline
for multiple years.
Multiple
years,
years,
and it wasn't greenlit. And then it finally solved some of the problems that we had with the early iterations of it, and then it got greenlit, and it's a very successful game.
Never drop an idea. Just keep on working on it if you believe in it. So.
Nice. And then I have to ask, so back to Jackbox 11, what makes this party pack different from your past party packs?
That's the most obvious one is that there's no sequel.
Right.
So
all five games are
original.
New, original
yes,
games.
Yes.
So as you've noticed, like a lot of our games have like, we're at Fibbage 4, or Trivia Murder Party 2. There's always a sequel, and that drives a lot of people to buy those games. This year, we really wanted to kind of be like, hey, we're doing 5 original games. We want to, push ourselves to not lean too heavily into that, and I think it's worked out really well for us. So, yeah.
Yeah. Innovation. There's always kind of controller innovation and technology innovation that we do. So this year has a game called Hearsay, which is a sound effects game. So you use your phone and the microphone on your phone to record silly sound effects and voice clips, and then it plays back in the game. And so that's new for us. That didn't exist in prior packs, and that's technology that was developed during this cycle. So every year we kind of push the envelope a little bit to try to do something a little different, or what's a unique mode of play that maybe party games exist in the world and we don't yet embrace something like that, or we don't have the tech to do that. What can we do with it? And so a good example is something like Hearsay. But the other games, there's unique takes on all these games, right? We have a RPG trivia game in Legends of Trivia. That's a first for us. It's kind of more of a pub trivia, harder kind of trivia. You need a group of people to solve it together. And then we have some familiar stuff. So if you're a fan of kind of the prompt versus prompt type of experience of Quiplash, let's say, there's a game called Dominate, where you have to take a prompt and you have to then, or something that might be nice, and you have to ruin it, right? So like a beautiful sunset is the prompt, and then you have to say something after that ruins a beautiful sunset. And then people vote back and forth. So there's some familiarity to this pack, hopefully, but then there's also some unique things and some unique tech that we've got.
And Suspectives is, you'll recognize the format. It is a hidden identity, who did what, kind of who done it type of game. And this one is actually, I really like because of the format. We put you through a questionnaire, and all those questionnaires are kind of put together, and you try and find the actual the fact path that will lead you to the actual criminal. And it's been beautifully designed. I think it's going to be a great game for people to play, with family or friends, and it's probably our best hidden identity game that we've done.
Yeah, everyone is a suspect and everyone is a detective. So that's how we get to Suspectives. Like we each person might have done it, and if you actually did the crime, but everybody else is a detective trying to figure out who did it. And it's a fun take on a hidden identity game. Yeah.
So
and then Cookie House is the last one we didn't mention. Yeah, it's a very casual kind of drawing game, a cozy drawing game basically, where you decorate cookies. But of course the cookies are really weirdly shaped, and of course the prompts are kind of bizarre, and so it's a typical Jackbox twist. It's not a very straightforward game for drawing, but it's a fun one, and everybody can feel good. It's a very satisfying drawing experience on your phone.
Yeah, the tools are really fun, really easy to use. But it's, again, like a Jackbox game. You don't have to be a great artist.
Right.
You just have to have goofy ideas to make your friends laugh.
Right.
I just have a couple more questions. Yeah. So this one's for you, Allard, specifically. Yeah. So as the Chief Creative Officer, I wanted to know what goes into the perfect pre-game spiel. So the segment where an animated character or a voice will explain the rules of the game. What goes into writing them, and how do you know when you got it right?
That's a great question. I think what we look for is brevity, because you don't want people waiting and sort of like their eyes glazing over. So what we try to do a lot of the time is do sort of inline tutorials. So just as you're about to do something, we explain it really quickly, and then that if you get people over that hump of like getting instruction and into gameplay as fast as possible, the best way to learn is to play. So that's what we look for. And also we want great voice talent. We listen to a lot of different tapes, and we cast a lot of different people just to kind of get that right tone. So that's another thing too. And then we have some artists that like to do more lip syncing, and some people that don't. So we try and kind of work with the time that we have, which is not a lot, but at the same time, we don't want to be boring people. So.
Right.
Yeah, speaking of like timeliness, so you guys are prolific for doing these yearly releases every year, and you're doing it since 2014. I wanted to know, you, Mike, as CEO, how do you make sure you are meeting these deadlines while also making sure there's no office crunch or burnout within your studio?
Yeah, that's a challenge. It's always a challenge in the games industry. It's one that we have faced, admittedly. We were a smaller studio for a while, and we just kind of kept working that way, and people were burning out on a treadmill. And so around COVID timeframe, we kind of really expanded the studio with the intention of, okay, we have people doing double duty, or people, kind of doing more than should be expected of them. We need more bodies, we need more people in this organization in order to deliver this thing and not burn people out. And so, but it's still a challenge because we're on this annual cycle. And I think we've done it so often now that we have a pretty good process of doing it, and we have a good way to intervene if a game's kind of going off the rails and we need to add some support to it, bring in contract help or whatever we need to try and keep it on track. And then we've also got just a lot of organization and really talented people in the studio that kind of help keep us on track and know when we need to submit, or know what can give, or know if we're going to add another sprint or not. And in many cases, we'll give time. We'll try to give time so that the games can be polished and we're proud of them. And like any company, we have to patch. So a game will come out, and there's maybe a few things we couldn't get in before the deadlines. We'll work towards patching the game and fixing bugs or adding some quality life improvements to the games.
Nice.
Yeah.
So last question, when does Party Pack 11 come out?
October 23rd.
Yeah.
It's not
right around the corner.
Right around
Yep.
the corner. So, yep.
Yep. All major consoles: Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and Epic, PC, Mac, Linux, you name it. We're on a lot of platforms.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you two so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you guys are interested in more video game interviews, board games, film reviews, interviews, anything, you can check out more at qualbert.com.